morning and welcome back to the channel, and a little shorter one today. Well, I think it's going to be a shorter one as I just take a little cliff walk along the chalk cliffs here in Étretat. Probably once again butchering that name, but apologies for that. And as you can see, starting out in a pretty epic location. Wanted to come here the last time that we were passing through, but couldn't get parked up, so we've actually parked the van just in a little car park about a mile away or so. Take a walk down, and then we're doing the full circuit that takes us down back into the little village of Étretat. So I just thought I would record a little short vlog as I make the walk across. Now, conditions aren't ideal for two reasons. One, it's quite a bright kind of sunny day. I kind of hoped it was going to, because I knew I was going to be coming here sort of, you know, outside of the sort of edges of the day. I was hoping it was going to be a bit more of an overcast day, maybe with some sort of movement in the clouds and stuff, maybe a bit more stormy along the sea. But as we have, it's clear blue skies. The other challenge is, at least at this section, the sun is behind me, so a lot of the cliffs don't get illuminated by the sunrise or by the early morning sun. Actually, this is a very good place to come sort of later in the summer at evening time, because the sun will cast into those chalk cliffs. But as always, when you're traveling, you've got to make the very most. So I've already actually made an image here. I'll pop it up after this little intro, and then what we'll do is we'll take a wander along. But yeah, so this is the cliff walk in Étretat. Quite cold as well, but beautiful. Let's go for a dander. The views are pretty spectacular, albeit not hugely conducive to great imagery, but still an absolute privilege to be here. So this coastal path is famous for this archway here, and that's what I'm kind of focusing on now, no pun intended. And again, really struggling with the light, because the sun is behind us. The cliff faces are completely in shadow, apart from obviously a little bit of light kind of shafting on the top of the arch. So it's no great shakes in terms of the composition. Got the camera set up in the standard 4:3 aspect ratio horizontal composition, out at about 40mm, and I'm actually shooting bracketed here. I know the medium format is incredible, or apparently incredible, at recovering shadows and highlights, but given the fact that I'm really still quite novice with this, I'm hedging my bet somewhat, so shooting 3 exposures, avoiding any of the brightly lit grass, and it's really just so I probably could get away with a 16:9, and I might actually throw this into a 16:9 aspect ratio just to give me a little bit more of an assistance with composing. And the only thing I really kind of paid attention to is through the archway there's another, I think it's a needle, I don't think it's a full archway, and so I'm kind of making sure that that's placed roughly centre in that bit arch. The only thing I'm kind of really paying attention to, just to give a little bit of balance, not including too much of the sky. The clouds actually would potentially lend themselves to a little bit of black and white, so that may come into the arch. And I shot an image on the iPhone that again, the textures in the clouds probably work well with black and white. But what a stunning place, and the views back along that way through that little archway, through that little sort of window, was just reminds me almost, I've never been, but some of the islands in Thailand that you get the boats out to, so the sheer cliffs that you see all those crazy people from Red Bull jumping off with a plastic bag tied to their back. So no drones today. There was another guy flying a drone and he got attacked by a lot of birds. I don't like flying the drone at the coast because, well, also it's quite windy as well, as you might be able to tell. So right, well, I'll throw this image up and then we'll wander on. is absolutely beautiful. Let me just pick up my tripod before someone trips over it and falls off the edge, which wouldn't be the done thing. So we're now I'm now actually standing on top of the arch that we were shooting earlier. And as you can imagine, this little spit gets very busy, which is why I brought myself out to the little edgy bit. Oh. The lens I have, the 32 to 64, which equates to about a 25 to 52 mil. It's kind of not wide enough and not long enough for this. So I've actually been making quite a few images with the old iPhone, which I'm sure intersperse as well. I think this place, obviously sort of late summer, whenever you're getting that sunset coming in, would just be incredible, especially with, I think, a wide angle lens, and just really could have, there's lots of opportunities for those big wide angle barrel type shots, not least here as well. But yeah, just beautiful, just gorgeous, lovely little walk. I'm getting quite busy now. It's coming up in midday or so, which is almost baguette time, I think, in France. Right, let's go up and see whether there's another arch just over behind me here. So let's go and see whether we can maybe break out the big boy for that. Slight change in my photography over the last couple of months is a little bit related to commercial, well actually a lot related to commercial. So we on our travels have been writing a bit for a couple of travel magazines, and I always struggle, and don't get me wrong, the iPhone is perfectly adequate for the types of images that a lot of the magazines are after, especially if I'm shooting those in RAW. And most of the images that we've been submitting, Nicola does a lot of the writing, does the writing, I do the imagery. But I realise that I'm missing a trick, because I go to a lot of places that I wouldn't normally kind of shoot, and of course being on the road and trying to sort of have a number of feathers to my cap, the commercial side of things can come in handy, and so that's exactly what has kind of influenced the composition that I'm working on here. So I'd originally started looking at just the arch and the little pinnacle, and I realised that again there wasn't a huge amount going for it, mostly because of the harsh light and shadows, and just wasn't a lot going for it, from my opinion. But nestled just in behind over to the right hand side is actually the little village of Étretat, and it kind of got me thinking that actually this potentially could work as an image for a magazine to sort of highlight the beauty of both the coastline and showing exactly where the little village is. So that's exactly what I've set up here. Now it is quite busy, as you might be able to hear in the background, but the magic of polar, or the magic of ND filters, put a little 10-stop ND filter on there, and that's giving me about a 6-second exposure, and that hopefully will soften the walkers who are walking along the cliff-top path. But then again, from a commercial image point of view, having people in there is probably advantageous as well. So I'll probably take 2 images just to sort of hedge my bets. Again, shooting in a horizontal composition, out at about 32 mil. In fact, yeah, right out at 32 mil. And bracketed shots again, just to give me, again, I'm not experienced enough to trust a single image shot, even though hopefully I would be able to do it. There is a lot more light, kind of allowing myself a little bit of the sort of the foreground here, just to sort of give a little bit of light in there. What, again, with the extra pixels in this here, obviously I can kind of crop a little bit and still have quite a large image. Just from a focusing point of view, I might actually reframe another image that actually removes some of this foreground and just focuses on the cliffs and the town itself. But just thought I would interject that into this little film, just to talk about the fact that some of my images that have been taken over the last couple of months have more been influenced from the commercial perspective than just purely my own personal landscape love. So I'll throw this image up and we'll wander on. Well guys, I think that's going to be it for today. We've actually crossed through the town which I butchered earlier, Étretat. And we've come up the other side where there's a couple of monuments to first Atlantic flights that took place. There's also, all the way along this area is the Atlantic Wall that was obviously built as part of the defence against the invasions. But yeah, we've come up this other side, and now we're going to wander back down into the town, and then, as I say, the van's parked maybe a 15-20 minute walk away from there, so we're going to be back by 2:15, but that's way too much logistical information for you to take in. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that little bimble along the cliffs here at Étretat. Really stunning, and as I say, it looks like from a sun position point of view later in the year and sunset, you'd get some lovely cast light. Or in fact, a sort of overcast day with foreboding clouds and a lot more movement in the sea. But and I think that's what I'm going to do over these next couple of weeks, because as I say, I really lost myself last time because I was always trying to make vlogs that were just, you know, perfect landscapes and stuff, and that's not the case whenever you're out traveling in the van. You just got to take what you have and take the conditions that you have. So I guess until next time, au revoir. I'm sorry, French people. I'm butchering your language. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.